Gracie Jiu Jitsu, a brief history. The history of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu can largely be followed through the family tree of one family, the Gracies. In 1929, a young Helio Gracie began practicing judo, which was often referred to as Jiu Jitsu in Brazil, at a school owned by his older brother in Brazil. Because of Helio's small size, he found it best to adapt many of the techniques used in judo to accommodate a smaller fighter competing with a larger fighter. Working alongside his older brother Carlos, Helio eventually developed his new style of judo to the point where it was a wholly new style unto itself. After many years of training, the legacy of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would pass down to Helio's sons and nephews. The son to truly bring Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the world was Royce Gracie. In 1993, Royce entered the UFC competition, the first one, which is unlike today, a tournament-style competition where the victor would fight 3 times in one night. The UFC was largely put together by the Gracie family as a way of showcasing various styles of martial arts and seeing which would prevail over the rest. Of course, they were confident that their style would win. Royce, who was a black belt at the time, entered the cage and won 3 matches that night, including one over fellow UFC Hall of Fame inductee Ken Shamrock. Royce went on to win a few more of the early UFC tournaments, solidifying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as the top martial art on the planet. In 2003, Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock were the first 2 fighters to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Another legendary Gracie family member is Royler Gracie, a brother of Royce. Royler's career is far more prestigious in the BJJ and submission grappling world than in MMA. While Royler Gracie won a number of fights in MMA, he has never reached the pinnacle of success the way he has in BJJ. Considered one of the most technical of the Gracie family, Royler has won the World Jiu-Jitsu Championship at black belt 4 times, and he was the first man to ever win the Abu Dhabi Combat Submission Club Wrestling World Championship in 3 consecutive years. For those familiar with the BJJ world, it was his win over Royler Gracie that launched the career of Eddie Bravo. While Eddie is a talented grappler in his own right, tapping out Royler with a triangle choke at ADC in 2003 is the main reason why most people know his name. A final legend of the Gracie family is not a son of Helio, but rather his grandnephew, Renzo. Renzo has been one of the premier BJJ practitioners for many years, competing in various MMA, BJJ, and submission grappling tournaments all across the world. Renzo, who currently resides in Homedale, New Jersey, is a grandson of Carlos Gracie, the older brother of Helio, who helped develop Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Renzo is the first Gracie to ever award a black belt to a student in America. His student has gone on to be a UFC legend. He awarded the belt to Matt Serra. Renzo has also helped prepare UFC welterweight champion George St. Pierre. His last fight was in April of 2010 at the first show in Abu Dhabi against Matt Hughes, which he lost in the final minute of the 3rd round. The Gracie family has inspired thousands of people around the world to train in martial arts that their ancestors created. For those in the area and wish to start training in Jiu-Jitsu under a top-level school with quality facilities and instructors, make sure you check out Jason Scully's New Jersey Mixed Martial Arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Monmouth County, New Jersey, in the Red Bank, Middletown, Homedale, Shrewsbury, and Rumson areas. Call us today at 732-397-2048 and visit www.trainforfreenow.com so then you can get a 30-day free trial and check out what Gracie Jiu Jitsu is really about.